Elegante TV Radio. I seriously love listening to it.
Oh boy, I see comments.
Hello, everybody.
I wrote to Ray.
What's up, people?
I wrote to Ray that throw a bomb for you to bomb.
TV Radio.
I wrote to Ray throw a bomb for you.
Mesdemoiselles, mesdames et messieurs,
This show be sweet.
Je m'appelle Comment et ce soir ici avec LGBT sur LGBT TV Radio.
What's up, y'all? This is Tupac.
Hey, this is Lady Gaga.
What's up, y'all? I'm Beyonce.
This is Mason Jackson. This is your boy, Baby Bash.
Hey, this is Justin Bieber. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Kelly Clarkson.
Hey, what's up? This is 50 Cent. This is your boy, Flo Rida. Believe that.
Yo, the deal. This is Ja Rule.
What up? This is Kesha.
This is David Guetta.
What's up with Destiny's Child?
This your boy, Drake.
Hi, this is Rihanna.
Hey, this is Ty Cruz. Yo, what up? It's Big Snoop Dogg. Party like a y'all. Show boy Twisted in the house.
Hey, this is Taylor Swift, and you're listening to
You're listening to
You're
listening to. Check this out. Yeah, check it out. And this is the mix. What's up? This is Big One Smith.
Hey, check this out.
That's
This is
my-
Roy Control.
This is our content.
Hi, this is Madonna.
What up? This Lupe Fiasco.
Okay,
What up?
not
This
too
your boy,
big.
Blitz.
P6 Bobby. You're in the building.
This is so good. Yeah, I'm not asking. Tomorrow, there's somebody asking my
Christina
kid.
Anbar.
That's
Hey, what's up?
tomorrow.
This
Somebody
is
asking me.
This is Brandon Boyd from the Best Interest.
DJ Golf, the Grandmaster
This is Jason with our chili peppers. This is Eric Clapton. Let's get that all up. This is LL Cool J.
No, man. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood.
Broadcasting.
Just
Listen.
I got the right question.
You are listening to Elegante TV Radio.
Cheers.
Elegante TV Radio. We dare to leave.
Maxwell.
Listen radio like you never heard before.
Big Euro.
Elegante TV Radio. The Pathfinder
9 o'clock, never reach
Radio.
Now that is show. Now they give me joy. Now they give me joy like Canadian Loud. Where they give some people joy. I don't know. Let's pop it up. It's 9 o'clock. All right, good morning and welcome to the Sports Buffet on Elegante TV Radio. My name is Idafi Matthew. You love to come in Elegante on the sports. Yes, they say, hey, now man, we prepare well, eh? I didn't win fight too. There are some things that just happen in football, and your first thought is, okay, let's go back to the normal format. Since I woke up, I've been scouring the internet, and I didn't see one person post that Carlo Ancelotti was lost because he was overthinking. Now you have a system that kept Man City at bay in the first leg. That locked up Erling Haaland. He didn't have a chance. He didn't have a sniff of goal. And you play Antonio Rudiger in that game. And then in the return leg 1 week later, you put Antonio Rudiger on the bench. Now I'm thinking, and people help me, I'm thinking, if that was Pep Guardiola and then Man City lost 4-0, everybody would say, oh, Pep Guardiola is overthinking. Pep Guardiola, this one is a fraud. How come nobody says exactly that about Carlo Ancelotti? Or is that analysis only available when Pep Guardiola loses game? Or that style of analyzing football is only available for Man City and Pep Guardiola when they lose game? Because it's kind of like strange, when you look at the way people will be so quick to jump out of the seat and call Pep Guardiola a fraud, he's overthinking, blah, 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 blah. But all of a sudden, Carlo Ancelotti does exactly the same thing and nobody's saying anything. Okay. Well, the good thing coming out of that game, the fact that Man City played a perfect game. I hope they also play a perfect game on the 10th of June in the finals against Inter Milan, because Inter Milan does look like they're a fantastic cup team, and they just might become a problem if you don't take them serious. And I just hope, I'm hoping, I'm not saying I think that they would win, but Man City should already know 2 seasons ago, it seems like they were going to take Chelsea to the cleaners. But then I think it was Kai Havertz scored 1 goal, and that was all she wrote. There was nothing in that game. Chelsea was not, in the better team coming off that season. But then again, you look at Inter Milan and you say, it seems like they've just found form the right time, the right moment, and they're doing well. Yes, they've lost 10 games in the league this season. They are in jeopardy of probably not qualifying for the Champions League next season if they don't win it. But hey, better than it's worth more than $1 million in the bush. This is what they have right now. They have the finals. They just might win it. The last time they were in the final was 13 years ago. And at the Nou Camp, I guess, against Bayern Munich, and they won 2-0. Remember, but Jose Mourinho was a coach at the time, so it's a different setup, it's a different situation, it's a different scenario. But then they're playing against a Man City team that seems perfect. It takes me back to exactly 1 year now to the day. Yes, 1 year ago exactly, I was in Dubai, and I remember we're recording a show where we're eating, and I said Man City will win every title in front of them. Unfortunately, they easily got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. And everybody was looking at me like, hey, what are you saying? I said, Man City is going to end the season. You can go back and watch it. It's 1 year ago. So you can search it on the channel. Is there. And I said, Man City will win everything in front of them. They will score goals like goals are going out of fashion. And it was based on that I was saying ever since Arsenal are not going to win the league. And people didn't like me saying it, but it was just the truth. And look at how this team have gone. Real Madrid is the team that everybody say, oh, in the Champions League, they're different. They can be playing badly in the league. They can be playing badly in the King's Cup, Copa del Rey. But when it comes to the Champions League, they are just a different kettle of fish. Well, this Man City team knew how to handle this kettle of fish this time around because they fried it, roasted it, barbecued it, and they ate it, sprinkled lime on it, and then they ate it with chips and every other thing that is available to eat it because that team was torn apart. But then the good thing with Real Madrid losing, I was telling a friend last night where my friend and Sunni were talking, and I said to him, I said, listen, guy, one of the good things about this Real Madrid defeat now is that the transfer window will open very fast because Real Madrid know that they have to replace Luka Modric now. They have to replace the East German Toni Kroos now. They also have to replace Karim Benzema and also bring in support for Vinicius Junior, not like he's a bad player, and Rodrigo as well. So about 5 to 6 players are needed in Madrid. And once that happens, it means that the transfer merry-go-round is going to be pretty fast. It's going to be a running mill because if you look again at Madrid, in the last 3, 4, 5 seasons, they've really not spent big in the transfer market. They've just, managed to get by Aurelio Tchouameni, Valverde, a few of these players that they brought in, but they've really not spent massively, like do what City did a couple of seasons ago, or do what Manchester United did last summer, last winter. They've just managed what they've got, but this is the time for them to say, you know what? No more saving the money. Let's get down. Let's get down to the business. I think they would either try to do a Galactico signings or, part of a bit of Galactico and a bit of the players that they've got. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you look at Real Madrid, the way Man City take them apart, first off, in the first leg, it was 1-1, but you know that Man City dominated that game just that the goals didn't come because Real Madrid defended very well. But you look at this game again, and you would almost have said that, what if Thibaut Courtois was not in the form of his life? Even though he considered 4 goals in this game, he was still in the form of his life. You could have given him the man of the match in that game where they lost 4 goals to nothing. That's the strange thing about this game. So you look at the Real Madrid team and you say to yourself, you know what, this team is fantastic. This team is good defensively, but they still consider this number of goals. So let's open the door to the transfer market. Again, you shift the conversation to Manchester City and you say to yourself, Pep Guardiola have worked up magic. Probably you could also say that this is the best season of Pep Guardiola as the coach of Manchester City, or probably in the 100 games they displayed in the Champions League, this is the best of the best. And I know that we've seen Pep Guardiola with Messi, Pedro, David Villa, Xavi, Iniesta, Sergio Busquets, Carlos Puyol, and the rest of them. And somebody saying that Dani Alves, Jordi Alba, and people saying that this is the best team he's got. Yeah, this is my reason. Yes, he's not got that extraordinary player like Messi or a midfield triquester of Sergio Busquets, Iniesta, and Xavi, who can create something out of nothing, who can, lock up an entire opposition midfield and then open doors for his own teammate. But then, it's been able to evolve his team. First off, Gabriel Jesus was let go, Zinchenko was let go at the beginning of the season, Raheem Sterling was also let go. And everybody was like, okay, what is this guy really up to? Come on, Grealish is not the kind of player you want to bank on for a season. Well, he's banked on him for the season. But that's not the turning point, The turning point is how he moves Stones. John Stones, of all players. John Stones looked like a very slow player, a player that could be bullied and be chased out. But then he's put him in the most sensitive position, the Pep Guardiola position, okay? I call it the Pep Guardiola position or the Franz Beckenbauer position. They put him in, or the Matthias Sammer position. Put him in that position and made him walk a zip line between playing in midfield and playing in center back, depends on where they are. Excuse me. Depending on where they are having possession of the ball, and it's done it with distinction. Man City have gone from a not so stable foundation in the first half of the season to an incredible team in the second half of the season after the World Cup. And in that run, they've run Arsenal out of the title race, run Man United ragged, run Bayern Munich, Man City ragged, Real Madrid ragged, Bayern Munich ragged in the Champions League. In the FA Cup, they ran all the way to the finals. It does look like the Manchester battle, they would win that one. I mean, because so I look at Inter Milan. Inter Milan is still struggling to make the top four. Man City know that on Saturday, Man City might be champion without playing the ball, without kicking the ball. If, for instance, Nottingham Forest beat Arsenal, which I'm hoping that they would, Nottingham Forest beat Arsenal, Man City are champion. So they know that going forward, they could play their reserve team in the remaining matches and rest their Champions League players, right? And then, prepare them for the FA Cup, get to the FA Cup, win the FA Cup. I'm taking it for granted now that they will beat Man United in the FA Cup final. Beat Man United in the FA Cup final, so they've got the league and the cup double secured, and then they'll go for that one, June 10th, that one that matters. Now, I dropped a question here. I said, if you can describe Manchester City and Inter Milan with the lyrics of a song today, what song would that be? And how confident are you of City winning the treble this season? You can also ask any other question that you want to ask. Let's get the show running. But before I read all your messages on YouTube or Instagram, this guy says sorry to Arsenal. I forgot the Premier. Arsenal, the Premiership is already gone, and is Arsenal still in the pretend title race, because that's what I call it from the beginning. I'm an Arsenal fan, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm a realistic human being. When I come on this microphone, I'm not coming here. This is not an Arsenal. It's not Arsenal fan TV. So the objectivity is very, very important. Talking about Arsenal, the transfer window, I like what has happened, because it means that Arsenal is going to go for the big guns and try to spend the money that they've refused to spend over the years. All those talk of you don't need money to win titles. Shut up. You need money to win titles. You need money to win titles, especially when you're in the Premier League. And I think Arsenal are realizing that they are planning a £92 million signing of Declan Rice. Arsenal are preparing a club record £92 million offer for West Ham 24-year-old England midfielder Declan Rice. But West Ham are saying, you know what? It does look like we'll do business with you, but up front, let us just tell you, Festisible, in the words of Obayangbo, listen, whatever you do, we want the money, like a higher chunk of the money, like 60-70% of the money up front. We don't want that one that you do and be paying 10 million every season. We don't want that one. So if you're ready, come with the bags of money. If you're not ready, my friend, push your face, go corner. Bayern Munich are also interested in Declan Rice as manager. Thomas Tuchel looks to refresh his midfield. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta is considering signing Manchester City's 28-year-old Portugal defender João Cancelo, who is on loan at Bayern Munich, but the Gunners fear City will be reluctant to do business with them this summer. Let's hope that they are not reluctant, and I don't think that City wants to keep João Cancelo anyway. Paris Saint-Germain want Manchester City's Portugal midfielder Bernardo Silva, who scored a double yesterday against Real Madrid. Okay, he's 28 years of age, and they are willing to pay £70 million for after failing to sign him last summer. This time they will try to price him off Manchester City. Well, let them win the Champions League in Istanbul first, win the FA Cup at Wembley. The league title is already a foregone conclusion. Chelsea talks with 30-year-old Belgian striker Romelu Lukaku about his future will be delayed until after Inter Milan, where he is on loan, play City in the Champions League final on the 10th of June. That's according to the Telegraph. Yeah. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, the best thing that has happened to Liverpool in the last 30, 40, or 50 years. Jurgen Klopp offered 37-year-old English midfielder James Milner, who will leave at the end of the season a coaching role. But the man says, you know what, I will come back to coach later, but for now, I want to focus on playing. I still have maybe 1 or 2 seasons to play. So let's see. Maybe we'll take up the offer or probably go and play, because there are still clubs who are willing to sign in. Well, Manchester United have agreed personal terms with Napoli's 26-year-old South Korea defender Kim Min-jae. So for those of you who says that Aurelio De Laurentiis will not allow Victor Osimhen go, well, if he can let Kim Min-jae go, then there is definitely the assurance that he will let Victor Osimhen go as well. Arsenal's 24-year-old Norway midfielder Martin Odegaard, whose contract runs out in 2025, is set to sign a new deal. According to 90 Minutes, Bayern Leverkusen manager Xabi Alonso says he will still be in charge next season despite being linked with the Tottenham vacancy. Tottenham still haven't gotten a coach to take over. That's how serious that club is. When I tell you that Tottenham is shit, believe me, they are shit. Actually, Arsenal midfielder about CB Lonkonga, 23, could move to Burnley to play under manager Vincent Kompany, who coached the Belgium at Anderlecht. And Vincent Kompany believes that he is a low-budget version of Yaya Toure, and he thinks he can bring him to the premium version of Yaya Toure as well. So let's hope that happens, and I pray that the transfer fee is a good one. Crystal Palace 30-year-old Ivory Coast forward Wilfred Zaha, whose contract expires in the summer, is considering staying as Hellsback, as the new coach that's been there, the 75-year-old Ray Hudson, has rekindled something in him that makes him wants to stay with his boyhood club. I mean, he grew up supporting Crystal Palace, has always been there. Went to Manchester United, they work where they were coming back as a hero, and he's back there. He wants to live and die in LA, Hellsback, okay? Our place to be. Barcelona will make a fresh attempt to sign Real Sociedad and Spain midfielder Martin Zubimendi, 24, this summer after Arsenal failed with a £53 million bid in January. Senegal forward Sadio Mane, 31, wants to stay at Bayern Munich despite his bust up with his teammate Leroy Sané in April. Former Bayern Munich manager Julian Nagelsmann was Chelsea's first choice to replace Graham Potter, but unfortunately, they are stuck with Mauricio Pochettino. And I think that the media in England should stop mentioning this because it makes Mauricio Pochettino start looking at himself like, oh, I wasn't even the number one guy. And then the players begin to say that you are not even the number one guy, so you better respect yourself. Nice, okay, it's a French club in case you don't know. It's spelled nice, but it says Nice, who are owned by British billionaire Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos group, have met with Potter to discuss appointing him as their manager. Okay, now. Okay, I've got nothing to say. No advice, nothing. Let him go there and prove himself. Let's see. Next, one former Crystal Palace manager, Patrick Vieira, if they avoid relegation. When will Vieira be coaching a big club? Is this how it's going to be? Like this, we go there. Like this, we go there. Okay. Swansea City manager Russell Martin is one of the candidates to take over at Southampton, who have been relegated from the Premier League this season. Barcelona director of football Matthew Alemany, okay, is set to stay after changing his mind on a move to Aston Villa. Now let's talk about the playoff a bit. Middlesbrough had Chuba Akpom. Okay, Chuba Akpom scored all the goals that he needed to score to qualify them for the playoff. Then came the playoff against Luton, against a very, very small team that you expect them to disperse. But then it's not like that in football. Over two leg, Chuba Akpom's no single score. He cried. He wept like a baby yesterday. But, I mean, cry doesn't change anything. Okay, the football is not a PT game. Yeah. Scored all the goals, didn't save anyone for the playoff. So they are not coming to the Premier League. They thought they were coming to the Premier League. They were sure that they were going to make it all. But Luton say, you will never make it. You can never make it. Yeah, it was 1-0 on aggregate over two leg. What a pity that a pitied man died in the pit. Sorry. It's one of those things. Chuba, try again next season, or be prayerful that one of the promoted clubs would decide and say, you know what, let's even sign this goal machine and get him on our team. It's possible. It's a possibility, it's a real possibility. But then I saw a message on YouTube that I like to read. Okay, so first off, the name of the person is just interesting because I grew up with a guy. There's a guy that used to play football at Globestar, very funny guy, Aroture. And then there's a pastor in Assemblies of God, Aroture as well. So Aroture, it says, City destroyed an entire caliphate of soccer. Wonderful display of skills, talent, foresight, and dedication. Now people understand the pressure Arsenal was feeling while at the top of the league. Well, I just me and words. I like the usage of words. Isn't that's one of the reasons why I love Pastor Paul Adeforasi, even though I don't go to church, but I love people who know how to use words, who are skilled at combining words together, using it and making sense with it. Okay, not people who shout wala 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 wala. But anyhow, man, I like to read it again. It says City destroyed an entire caliphate of soccer. Wonderful display of skills, talent, foresight, and dedication. Now people understand the pressure Arsenal was feeling while at the top of the league. That's the pressure they were facing. And it's like Arsenal was fighting a battle against John Rambo. And so this young generation, this Gen Z people, this Instagram generation don't know who John Rambo is. Okay, but that's the best way I'm going to be able to describe it. Was a one-man army who destroyed an entire, setup of crime, and that's who is. That's a setting Man City is. And until you see them destroy Real Madrid, you will not understand what Arsenal had to deal with before they finally crumbled. Because Man City was a relentless army, was a machine that is well groomed, well oiled, well prone, well trained, well prepared. Jesus Christ of Nazareth, man, that team is incredible. Man City's team is incredible. They made Madrid look so, especially in the first half, made Madrid look like some whimpers, some babies, some kids. They couldn't even go forward. The famous combination of Vinicius Jr. and Benzema was not there. Kyle Walker is incredible. It was like it was Nigerian police checkpoint on the highway with the expressway or expressway. It was just there like we die here. The one time that Vinicius Jr. got behind him, he flashed his way back. He ran like flash, overtook him, took the ball, turned around, and Jesus Christ. Man City are bad. When Man City are in this form, fear them. They pass assassin. They pass US Marine in movies. US Marine in real life, they are mugu. But in movies, US Marine, can say only 4 to go and take down a full nation. Steve Oko on Instagram say, good morning, boss. Good morning to you. This Man City, hey, the quality is something. I just hope they don't turn Premier League into Farmers League. I don't care if they like to turn it into Farmers League. Let them continue to win it. I don't care. All the people used to say that, the German Bundesliga is dominated by Bayern Munich, blah, 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 blah. This cannot happen in England. Look at you now. Hey, Shola Sharewabi. Sholes Arewa. He said, sorry to say Arsenal should forget the Premiership. Wait, was Arsenal in the Premier League title race before? I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I never saw them there, so I don't know what you say. Choose. This is Madasha headphone. We too big. Beg you. Come on. Talk football. Forget begging too much. It's beg too much. Well, Oduni Rameleko say Walker did an excellent job on Vinisha in both legs. I believe his absence against Madrid last season cost City. Vini Cook Fernandinho like Mogu. We saw the difference now when Walker played both legs. Okay, I agree with you on that one. And he said impressive. He went on to say it will be so painful if one way or the other City lose to Inter in the final. It will be disastrous as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry to say, but it will be disastrous. Okay. And then he said Pep make sure Madrid doesn't even see the ball in the middle. Talk less of to control the tempo in the first half. The pressing and the pressure was too much for Madrid defenders. I agree with you. He said did more of defending than attacking. Yeah, that's what Madrid did in that game. Once again, Bernardo Silva showed us why Pep doesn't want him to leave last summer. And he tell you that Pep Barca team good die. The only difference is just one spot, the goalkeeping. Okay. Good morning, bros. I beg you. What is your take on Chelsea employing Pochettino as their head coach? Okay, let me read out this message. I'll come back to that. I'll come back and deal with that. Oduni Remilakos, that question was from Quinton. Okay. Oduni Remilakos say 10 million every summer. Now my Arsenal, they use watch like this. Yes, and then they pay when and never see pay the money finish for Nicolas Sanogo Pepe. So Eze Patrick say, good to be back on the show. Thank you very much. Kehinde Solomon Oretime. He said Madrid were worse last year. Their first shot was 90th minute. City played better last year, but couldn't take their chances last year. Eze Patrick, he said, we understand the pressure. Remember, I said it here on the show in January when they start that run, they don't stop. Yes, you said that. I agree with you. Sivako said, any chance Arsenal can sign Casado, Declan Rice, and Tielemans? Yes, there's a chance. There's a chance that at least of these three names that you called, two are most likely going to land at Arsenal. After all, Tielemans is a free agent. Shouldn't be a difficult thing to do. But then again, in football, never say never. Somebody else will just swoop in from somewhere. Take, for instance, but in the next 1 or 2 weeks, Everton will have a new owner. A new owner, Richard Amoshiri, that is leaving. I know that there are a few clubs that are ganging up to sue Everton, but who cares? 300 million is what they're asking for. The price for Everton right now is 600 million. Now, this is how it goes. You know, if Everton gets a new owner and then the owner comes in with a new set of people who really understand football, all of these players might just be different. That is if they survive relegation. When money might make them come in. Okay, again, they don't have European competition to put on the table for some of these players. But hey, who cares if the money is very good? They just might stay. So there's a whole lot of opportunities there. But I think that the transfer market will be beautiful this window. For reasons best known, Paris Saint-Germain would need to sign a lot of players. Real Madrid would need to sign a lot of players. I think Bayern Munich will also need to be in the market. FC Barcelona, not too many, but they would be in the market as well. I think that Pep Guardiola would also be in the market for some players. Tottenham Hotspur, shitty club, but they will be in the market. Manchester United will be in the market. Chelsea will be in the market. Arsenal definitely would need between 3 to 5 players in the market. So this transfer window would be beautiful. AC Milan, they don't have much money, but they would also want to be in the market. Inter Milan want to be in the market. Juventus, the will of the Wiz, would also want to be in the market. And I think that the transfer window will be interesting, will be beautiful. I hope that a club that is not relegation bound will sign Gift Orban. I think that Gift Orban should leave Belgian league, but not like in the case of Polonuachu that went to Tottenham, Southampton in January and became that. I think that somebody like Gift Orban, if Tottenham Hotspur lose Harry Kane, Gift Orban is the kind of player that they can add to their squad and it will have value. If West Ham survive relegation, West Ham also are playing at AZ Alkmaar tonight, and AZ Alkmaar 2-1 down from the first leg. They just might turn it around. That's another team that if they survive relegation might want to have a team like a player like Gift Orban in their squad. Now that we know that Brentford striker Ivan Toney, that I suggested yesterday that Arsenal should buy if they don't ban him for long, is gone out for 8 months due to gambling issues. Brentford would also need a player like Gift Orban, but unfortunately, I don't think that Gift Orban should go to a team that doesn't play in Europe. Omar KBSC, my brother, my friend, my guy, he says, so Ancelotti goes to Brazil. I'm not sure about that anyway, because I've spoken to my friends, my contacts in Brazil, 5 of them, Oliveira, Santos, and the rest of them. And they're saying that, okay, yes, it's a rumor, but there's nothing concrete about it. So until something concrete is available, and I think that that's going to be the death nail on Brazil. Brazil's never going to win the World Cup again. Carlo Ancelotti going to Brazil is like handing over the economy of your country to America and letting CIA run your country. They will run your country down, destroy your country. Your country will go from a virile nation to a failed nation, and Americans will benefit. Europeans, some seasons ago, some years ago, I said something that Europeans are recolonizing the world in football terms, and they are doing it in such a way that no other continent can win the World Cup. Yeah, Argentina won the last World Cup, which is, for me, was great, right? But the way the Europeans are doing it, when they're not investing players from different continents, especially Brazil, because Brazil is their biggest threat in South America. Like, if they can disable Brazil, they'll get it. Argentina is a different continent because they come from a different cloth. They are war-minded. They are different people. Their mentality is different. But you see, when you start getting Brazilians out of their system early enough, not to play the samba that they know, the jenga that they know, and then you bring them to Europe to play the European football. Take, for instance, Neymar was a good player when he was playing for Santos. And they signed him to Barcelona. He was a good player. And he was doing his flicks and tricks and turnaround, falling, rolling on the floor. It was okay. But then, when he became a threat to Europeans, they started using their media to destroy him, to say all other things that they say. And you know, some people had the audacity to say Neymar did not live up to his potential. The same people who say that will tell you that Harry Kane is the icon, football icon. Can Harry Kane lace the boot of Neymar? And I've also seen Africans say the same thing about Neymar. Like, oh, Neymar is and I dare anybody, I double dare anybody. There is not a player out of Africa. Probably the only one that comes close is Samuel. So not a single player out of Africa that can lace the boot of Neymar. But then people say he's a failure. He didn't live up to his potential. Hello, do you have anybody in Africa who live up to his potential? You have anybody in Europe who really can stand the level of Neymar apart from Cristiano Ronaldo, probably Zidane and the rest? But then, you know, because they want to make him look like he's a bad player, and then they say all these other things anyway. But let's go to the comment of certain people that okay, Amakabe, he said not be only one shot Madrid takes score last year. The shot came at the 90th minute where they qualified. That's the most important. And then they went on to win the tournament. Who cares about this, your statistics when they won the tournament? Okay. Amakabe says so Ancelotti goes to Brazil. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. And I'm not even sure if Real Madrid will sack him. Real Madrid sacks him. Who come in? Are they going to bring Zidane again for a third time? I don't know. Akim Usui Solomon said, I don't think Madrid went with the best tactics for last night game. Yes, they would have won at the end. I felt the scoreline was too embarrassing. Real Madrid were more than what they put up last night. No, not Real Madrid. It's not about Real Madrid. It's all about Man City. Man City made whatever tactics they came in to be neutralized. But my question, why I'm asking is, why is it that this morning we're not hearing that Carlo Ancelotti overthink things? Because if it was Pep Guardiola that dropped Antonio Rudiger, who had a good game in the first leg, people say, oh, Pep Guardiola overthinker, he's overthinking things, blah, blah, blah. That's the reason why they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Well, I didn't hear you people say all that shit again. Okay, 69 Lima says City gave a classic last night. I hope they beat Inter Milan because football don't always go as expected. I agree with you on that one. Quentin, say good morning, Abego. What is your take on Chelsea? Okay, I'm coming with that. Here's a Patrick, say, good to be back on the show. Kehinde Solomon or Oretime, he says Madrid were worse last year. Okay, I think I've read that one. Odini Ramelaka say since Boli don't come, he never come out for market, bro. So Chelsea they sleep and wake up, feast inside market. OG Bayano say good morning, good morning to you. Nice match yesterday. Pep is from another planet because of the way he do things in football. Pep is a genius. I agree with you. Okay, and then the Abiodus, you say, boss, I did enjoy you. Thank you very much. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the question that Quentin asked. Quentin said, good morning, boss. Good morning. Abeg, what is your take on Chelsea employing Pochettino as their head coach? I think that Chelsea, beyond coaching, also have a structural issue, just like Tottenham Hotspur. But because they have enough money and they are willing to spend, I think that they would employ the right set of people. But I also think that Boli doesn't understand European football yet. It will take some time to understand European football. Is Mauricio Pochettino a great coach? Like, do you put him in the class of Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, Carlo Ancelotti, and the rest of them will be tied you? That is a travesty. That's an insult to even mention his name in that class. So, Chelsea also, if you look at Chelsea's history of success, Chelsea have succeeded with different type of coaches. They succeeded with Luis Philippe Scolari. They succeeded with Carlo Ancelotti. They succeeded with maybe Avram Grant. You can't call Avram Grant a success, but they've also succeeded with Legbere coaches. Roberto Di Matteo won them their first Champions League. Not seen him coach anywhere else after that. And Thomas Tuchel was not really a success before he came to Chelsea, but before you could say Jack Robinson, he's won the Champions League again and he's won some cup title. Rafa Benitez came in and won the Europa Cup. So there are different type of coaches. But one of the things you look at in all of those success was the fact that there was a man behind it and who put a structure that makes it easy for the coaches to work. His name is Roman Abramovich. Now, Roman Abramovich has gone, you know, when you look at Chelsea, Chelsea reminds you of the story in the Bible of Eli. For as long as Eli had the grace of God on him, he was able to do anything. Even Maurizio Sarri, who had not won anything, came to Chelsea and won, right? For as long as Eli had the grace of God upon him, or Saul, the king, had the grace of God, the anointing of God on him, he could do anything to achieve anything. But then when the glory left and they gave birth to Ichabod, you notice that the whole kingdom was falling apart. Things were falling apart and the centers cannot hold. And when you look at Chelsea, Chelsea does look like a team that the proverbial or the biblical glory have departed. And so things are not working. Even the normal things that the ordinary Chelsea name can just achieve easily is no longer working. And you look at Mauricio Pochettino. Yes, he's a builder. But you see, what happened to Mauricio Pochettino at Tottenham Hotspur? And I'm going to describe this in a way, whether you're a boy or a girl, you would understand. If you've ever given loyalty in a relationship, you're dating someone, you're loyal, you're not cheating, you're not lying, you're not playing prank, you're not doing hanky-panky, you're not even imagining, like you could be loyal in a relationship and you see one girl dress and you see the lining of the pants and you're like, ooh. You just catch feelings or catch Holy Spirit, or let's say unholy spirit. And like in today's world, back in the day, girls always wear bra. In today's world, girls don't wear bra anymore. They don't leave the breast, pata, like that, and then the nipple is calling onto you, the deep call it onto the deep. And you're loyal, but you're magnetizing to that. And then you like to slap yourself. Come on, behave yourself. So, but when in all of those loyalty, you now walk up to your girl or your guy sleeping with someone else that's not on your level, that does not even offer what you offer, and you catch them in bed. You know that it's going to be almost impossible for you to ever be loyal to anybody again. Like your ability to be loyal would have died that day, right? What Mauricio Pochettino did with Tottenham Hotspur, 2 windows, no transfer, no signing, nothing, and he took them to Champions League finals, took them to chase the title, even though they didn't win it, all of that. And then they sacked him the way they did. They created a all or nothing video that started with his reign, but they made it look like it never existed. So if you look at him, to give that kind of loyalty and dedication, it's going to be hard. And I'm going to use myself as an example. When I left Brilla in 2017, so there are ways they sack you from work. I'll be like, okay, so they can sack somebody because of doing the right thing, because of doing this thing. I knew I was never going to be loyal to anybody. When I got all those job offers, 750K per month, 1 million per month, I was just looking at the people like, if I can't work for I feel spoiled on a full company. Like I feel destroyed on a full company because I'm not going to be loyal. I'm just going to come there, earn the money, and walk around, lazy around, just give very, very lazy analysis and move on. So I said to my wife, I said, babe, as much as you want me to go take this job, we need the money. I'm going to spend my energy on my own work because the only person I can be loyal to right now is me. Anything outside me, that's not loyalty anymore. And that my loyalty to anybody ended, on August 15, 2017. So I think that Mauricio Pochettino, I can't vouch for him that he will come good. Tactically, he is good, but he needs certain type of players. It's just like Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola needs certain types of players to achieve certain things that he can achieve. I was in a group the other day and I said to someone that we're talking about the who's better, Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho. And I said, what stand Mourinho apart from Pep Guardiola, even though Pep Guardiola is my favorite, is that the places where Mourinho goes to and win, I'm not sure Pep Guardiola can go there and win. The places that Jose Mourinho goes to and succeed, I'm not sure Pep Guardiola can go there and succeed. Pep Guardiola is a Rolls Royce, a Ferrari. He needs certain type of road, certain type of environment to excel, and certain types of players to really excel. Jose Mourinho goes anywhere and he will squeeze anything. And please don't remind me of Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur is doomed for failure. Nothing. If Jesus come and coach them, he will not perform miracle. They will still fail. So you're not going to use that as example. So that's the way I describe them. I'm thinking Pochettino coming to Chelsea. Right now, Chelsea are too deep in problems. They are not a Paris Saint-Germain who's the dominant force. They are not going to be the dominant force. So it's going to take some time. And the players that they've got are not Pochettino kind of players. So it's going to be like in coaching when he was coaching at Espanyol. You will see that a coach is working. But unfortunately, in the Premier League right now, Man City are still going to be the dominant force next season. That's one. Manchester United are going to come into the race. If Arsenal invests between 200 to 350 million, Arsenal is going to be in the race. And then Liverpool are going to try to bounce back. Liverpool have got the front men that can make them bounce back. Then maybe they may now have the defense and the midfield yet, but if they invest, say, 200 million, they'll be able to also be in the race. So you have Man City first, who would still win the title again. You have Arsenal, you have Man United, you have not Newcastle United, then you have Liverpool, before you now start saying Chelsea. So Chelsea might struggle. And then when they struggle, the fans and probably the owner might not want to be patient because they've shown patience with Graham Potter, they've shown patience with Frank Lampard, and then they might say, okay, you know what works with this club is hiring and firing. And probably in the middle of next season, Carlo Ancelotti might be available. So I don't know if he would be able to do well. This is my own diagnosis of the Chelsea situation, because I still think that Chelsea would need another 5 years before they would even compete for the titles. That is if they win it. So all of that put together, I'm not really seeing excellence coming from Mauricio Pochettino at Chelsea. Is he a bad coach? No, but he's not a great coach. Like you say, oh, this guy, as he's coming down, he's going to come and turn things around. No, I don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to be, Chelsea fans are going to need to be patient and be very, very patient. If not, there's nothing good that's going to come out of that. Samuel Karimo said, good morning, this wet morning. Okay. The money is lubricated, right? Okay, no problem. Here's a Patrick. So after all these things, them go still call men scum when they fall. They still call men scum when they fall. Okay. Onyeka Unalue, he said, bros, is it true that Pep didn't make change in the first leg? I think City is this winning cup. Bros, are you speaking in English or are you speaking in your language and then try to type it in English? Gillo Hendricks, he said, good morning, boss. Good morning to you. He said, Patrick, I have learned that once someone is so successful, people will say ridiculous things. The overthinking thing, now ego talk. Or probably, I don't know. Maybe you should use marijuana next time so that we know where you're standing on. Okay? But I mean, I don't know why the overthinking thing doesn't go for Carlo Ancelotti or any other coach. It only goes for Pep Guardiola. That's why, when I said yes some time ago that's lazy analysis, because the principle of analysis is that you can use the same principle to analyze other situations if it happens. But unfortunately, it always happened with only one coach, and that kind of theory doesn't work for me. I didn't learn how to analyze football like that when I went to Hamburg and pay money to learn how to be an analyst. So it's always fun. Yabiados on Instagram say, if Man City wins FA Cup, who would they play in Community Shield? They play Arsenal. Arsenal comes second, so they play Arsenal. That's the way it works. Okay, it's first and second. They play Arsenal in the Community Shield next season. I hope you know. Abiados say, bros, you like Niposha? I mean, man, I'm not gay. Makabi Pastor Legote said Ikabog. Yes, now Ikabog. If you know how I went to Assemblies of God. I grew up in Assemblies of God. See, if you go Assemblies of God, you don't have the fear of God. You can never fear God or fear anybody again. If you go to Assemblies of God, if you grow up in Assemblies of God, I don't know of now, but in the era where I grew up in Assemblies of God, that's why I am such a very weird human. When people say there is witch, I don't believe say witch day. You can't convince me. There is no witchcraft anywhere. You can't convince me, right? That's a conversation for another. That's a topic for another day. But it's just what it is. Across the board, say this Man City team is an embodiment of talented players who played like the German Panzer Division of the Second World War, where ruthless and unrelentless. Inter Milan is in trouble. Meanwhile, I agree with you, but you see the thing about Inter Milan, they have such an organized defense that it should worry you. Okay, 69 myself, was Scolari a success at Chelsea? I thought it was sacked before the season ended. You really think it was a failure? Compare him to the people now. Victor Malalu says, sorry, ball. We say Pep feet go start folding at the final like that. Make Pep no underrate Inter because I'm not sure he's going to do that. That's it. Pep Guardiola wants to win this thing and kind of like shut people up. But he doesn't just want to win this. You can say, I'm not. Pep Guardiola win this Champions League and next season he wants to win it again. Okay? He wants to win it again. And then that's when everybody will now realize that this Pep Guardiola is a mad guy. Amakabiesi says, Step Manic say, me, I'm a redeemer, and I'll be upcoming, I'll be children for this Bible to use what Christian Akilame call it nepios. You guys are nepios. You guys are on our job now to the plant church everywhere. I don't understand this thing the way we do. The Abiana say if Man City was wins, okay, I've read that one before, and then Amakabiesi came and said, Elegote, sir, is it not sad to see Leicester City relegate in the Madison, Telemans, Vardy, Kelechi, etc.? It's not sad for me because if they really love the Premiership, they should have done everything to stay up. The players have their own share of blame to take. I agree that letting Kasper Schmeichel go was a very big mistake, but at least the players that were there, they also did move when they need to move. They didn't play when they need to play. They were just lazing around, and they have their own fair share of the blame to accommodate as well. Odini Ramilako says Samuel Karimu. It's true. Pep didn't make any sub. Okay, in the first leg in Madrid, yeah, they did not. Odini Ramilako, I think I thought I answer you. Odini Ramilako say, not true. Man City for Community Shield again. Okay, Man City didn't take Community Shield serious. Pep Guardiola didn't take it serious. If you notice, they didn't play that game, but they lost to Liverpool. They lost to I think Leicester also. And Man City doesn't take Community Shield matter serious. Patrick, I still not believe say this man know they go church. No, I don't. I don't go to church. Straight up, I don't go to church. The going to church and believing in God are two different things. Try and understand that. So where do we stand now? Where do we stand? Who's talking there? Who's asking a question? Where we going? Because we're close to the end of the show right now. We're like 15 minutes away from the end. But let me jump in on some conversations that people were having. Patrick Evra was invited for TV presentation. I don't know why TV people like controversy. Well, I understand. That's what will bring in all the clickbait, all the likes. So you need to bring a rival player. So he showed up wearing all red at Etihad, working for CBS, okay, alongside Jamie Carragher, Peter Schumacher, and the rest of them. I thought that they were supposed to bring on Man City legend, but unfortunately, Man City does not have anybody that have won the Champions League playing in their team, okay, and Yaya Toure does look like an enemy of Pep Guardiola, so nobody wants to bring him on in evenings like this. So it was wearing red, and some Man City fans didn't like it, and they attacked him. But again, it was sorted out easily, and everybody felt good. Okay, so Man United, the plan to buy Man United is now gotten a twist. Okay, at one point it was like, oh, done and dusted, done and sorted. In the words of Yika Yedele, my former colleague, but the Arab guy felt like, you know what? I'm not going to lose to this guy like that. I'm going to put in. So they put in another bid. Okay. So as they put in that bid, that the bid is blown open again. We're still waiting. The Abiodun say Evra talks too much. You see, the thing about life is, I was doing a talk yesterday. I was invited for a talk on a Zoom, for a company I was paid, and I needed to come talk about growth. And I don't even know why they called me, but I gave an illustration. So I'm going to use that illustration again here. You see that seed, that small seed called acorn seed. It is that seed that produced that big tree, massive big tree called oak tree. But you see the thing about that acorn seed, if you take a cup this size, like let's say you cut this top off it, and you put manure, put sand, soil here, and you plant the acorn seed here, right? In this container, this hand wash, okay, hand sanitizers container, and you do not transplant it to big soil. If you like, you kabash. You go and bring anointing water from Jerusalem, and bring some from Jeddah, and bring some anywhere, and pour it there from Turkmenistan, the most difficult country to live in the world. You go and bring it and anoint it. It will not grow and become oak tree, because environment can constrict you a whole lot. So Evra is building a brand to survive after playing. You are here saying he talks too much. It is that talking too much that makes media to pay 4 million pounds to be on their platform. So I don't understand your rationale for saying he talks too much. You sounded like those people who told blind Bartimaeus to shut up, keep quiet. But then, as the Bible will say, he shouted more with a louder voice. That son of David, Jesus, that son of David, that messed me. The thing is, your job determines what you do. You can tell a man who today is not paid to talk, that he talks too much. And I've heard people say that about me too. You're paid to talk. You have got to talk. As a matter of fact, talk and talk and talk and talk. I don't think Evra talks too much. Evra is just gaining traction in his line of business. You are still seeing Evra as a football player, but Evra is no longer a football player. Evra is actually an analyst, okay? And he's got an asset. And the asset is his playing career, is his history. You want Evra in your studio to talk about some of the things that Sir Alex Ferguson did, some of the things that happened with the national team, with Raymond Dominic and Lamec and the rest of them. You want him to talk about times that he spent with Cristiano Ronaldo. Listen, some people's biggest claim to fame and bread on the table, bread and butter on the table, is telling their stories of times with Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, all of that. So if Evra is going to ever eat with that, then he needs to talk and talk and talk. Yes, open your mouth and talk. So don't call him that he talks too much. It's just what gets him paid now. This is him being the Lionel Messi of the talking game. He has to talk. He ever says, oh, Messi scores too much or Ronaldo scores too much. You can't say that. He's in the talking game now. He's got to talk. And I've heard a lot of people say the same thing to me. You talk too much. But I talk for a living. You want me to become baby and then not be able to pay my expensive children's school fees? Tomorrow is my wife's birthday, for instance. You don't want me to be able to buy her a steak or take her out and go have a very nice lunch or dinner or whatever? Come on. Talking is important when you know the environment that you should be. So don't put him in this jar, because if you want the oak tree out of him, put him in a very big field. And there's no bigger field than being a Manchester United legend and talking at the Etihad. That's exactly what you need. The TV people, you think that the people behind TV don't understand what they are doing. Let me give you a very good example. I sit in this closed studio, talk, analyze football, do everything. And probably I get 15 people on Instagram, maybe another 30, 40 people on YouTube. Somebody, Sabello, carry some girls with big yash, big breasts, and put them on Facebook, and you get 2 million, 10 million, 5 million people. You know why? It's because he knows that that's what you people need, right? So it's like, I don't agree with you that he talks too much anyway. But let's get past that one. Peter Daniel, 1764. Is that your prison number? Please, what do you make of Leicester chances of surviving relegation? I want them to be relegated anyway, so I don't make any chance of them surviving relegation. I think that they're going to go down. They're playing Newcastle next. Newcastle beats them this weekend, because Newcastle also know that, okay, their top 4 slot is not super guaranteed anymore. Liverpool is breathing down on everybody's neck, and they might either knock out Manchester United or Newcastle. So Newcastle are not going to sit back and say, okay, let's let Leicester survive. No, they're going to beat them. They will beat them. Yeah? So, and then Leicester, Nottingham Forest might beat Arsenal. And so they just might go down. Everton, I don't know what they stand for. Peter Daniel said it would be very sad to see them go down. Well, better than them have gone down before. The world did not end. When you have something, you don't hold it tight, you lose it. That's just the truth. The idea to say that's rivals home. You try and be yourself. And being himself is talking. And that's exactly what he did. He went there. He's not going to try and be wearing sky blue suit and be nice to Man City. No, that's not his job. A proper Man United fan is not supposed to be happy seeing Man City winning. So you go there and you poke fun at their expense, whether they're winning or not. That's just the way it is. So I think he did what he needed to do. Well, Everton are said to be sold for around £600 million to American investment fund 777 Partners as early as next week. Okay, with Fahad Moshiris unpopular nearing an end as the club fight to save their new stadium building and Premier League status. I hope they don't get relegated. It will be bad. Okay. He said, believe me, we'll beat them again. Rio Ferdinand reveals text message that Pep Guardiola sent him before the match. So Pep Guardiola was very sure. It wasn't cocky, but he was very sure. He went for the first leg. He saw the way they played as, no, this was, they're definitely thinking they come to Etihad to kill them. So before the match, he sent a text message to Rio Ferdinand, who's he's formed a very good friendship with. Sent him, and that friendship started in 2011 when he led Manchester United, Barcelona to beat Manchester United in Champions League finals, and they became friends because Rafinha came out after that game and complimented Barcelona and Pep Guardiola, and then he went to Pep Guardiola and said to him, "I want to be your friend." That's how he requested for friendship. And I used to tell people that if you like somebody enough, go to them and tell them, "I want to be your friend. There's something about you that I like, and I want to learn from you, and I want to be your friend. I want to be able to say we're friends." It's not just these social media friends that we're friends on social media. That's another conversation for another day. I want to be your friend, and then you begin to build that friendship, service a friendship, check up on the person, but not all those happy new month. Those of you that send happy new month, your hair fire. Your hair fire. God will punish you people. True to God. That you send every month, happy new month. Are you people well? Okay, Amakabe to say, is there any underrated player in the EPL like Southampton captain James Ward-Prowse? It shouldn't be going down with the team to the championship. Well, I don't think James Ward-Prowse is underrated. He's just in a bad team, and there are already teams that wants to sign him. Teams like Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham, Everton if they survive, Brentford, Fulham. There are teams that wants to sign him, so I don't think he's underrated. But the thing is, he's more powerful with his free kick than a whole lot of other things. So people look at that. But I don't think he's underrated. He's just a good player in a bad team. 69 Lema say all that CBS show was planned to entertain the audience. It's not a coincidence. I love the CBS bringing entertainment to analysis. It's important. See, football have evolved past the normal, being all uptight and strong. You see, these days, they bring fashion, they bring a whole lot. If you have, like, I was telling a friend of mine the other day that if I have the funding that I need and I turn the studio around, it will be a different conversation, right? So today people want to see what are the presenters wearing, what are the analysts wearing, who's dressing them, what type of shoe they're wearing, what are they eating, how are they coming in, what kind of car is bringing them in. That's the way it is today. So you've got to be able to do that. It's just like what Sporting Lagos is doing with football. You've got to be able to fuse entertainment, like carry the fans along. And sometimes, so there are fans who will not love you if you're not controversial. I've been there. I've been on that road. So I know. When I started in 2004 on radio, there was absolutely not a single controversial sports analyst in Nigeria. Not one. There was a stereotypical type of presenting. You just go there, you present by the script. It's short. The people still do it today. And then I showed up. First off, I'm not a by the script person. One, I came in with this mentality, and I still have it, that I know better than everybody that is talking sports, talking football in Nigeria. And it was true, because if you look at the big names, everybody that was talking sports at the time, the Jamoto Ibo, the Jitunumbu, the late Jitunumbu, Bodo Guti, as great as they were, because those were the guys that I consider like, those are the A-listers, right? And then the others were just charlatans, as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. I might be wrong. And so when I go on air, first off, I look at these other guys, everybody, name anybody. I look at them as, this one, they don't know anything. They don't play ball. They don't coach. They don't know anything that happens within the inner workings of a football club. So these guys are just opinionated people. People who just have opinion. They don't know anything. Opinionated people are, say, assumption. They build their opinion based on assumption. And I know a lot of people listen to me like, oh, it's very arrogant. It's full of himself. That's why I was hated. And so when I come on air, and those were the people who always tell you, hey, the fans are always right. You have to respect the opinions of the fans. I shut up. I'm not respecting the opinion of a fan who doesn't know anything about football, right? So, and we used to have a lot of argument, Tony Beckett and myself, and they like, no, you have to respect the opinion. I said, no, I'm not respecting opinions of people who don't know anything about football. They don't play football. They don't even know the size of the ball. So why am I respecting the opinion? But as I grow and I realize, okay, you know what? I don't care whether people like me or not, because at the beginning, you always feel like you need people to like you. But then you get to a point where you're like, who cares whether people like me or not? I'm just good at what I do, and I know that I'm good at what I do, so I don't care. So you go on like that. But as you're going, you're going to decide whether you want to be this person or you want to be that person. So look at CBS. Look at Gary Lineker. Look at Jimmy Carragher. Look at Gary Neville. People say Gary Neville is not a good football analyst. But guess what? He's the most followed guy. He's the most quoted guy. He's the guy that's making the headlines the most of all the analysts. People like them, Owen Eggrips, who are very nice, raised in Canada. Now, if you've ever lived in Canada, I lived in Canada for 2 years. If you've ever lived in Canada, you know that Canadian people are super nice people. They will never look for trouble. Look at Drake as a rapper. Drake does not insult anybody. Doesn't even get into beef with people. His beef is the very silent one. That's how Canadians are. Very nice people. So you look at him analyzing, like, oh, this one doesn't stir the water. This one is a nice guy. But not everybody's going to be a nice guy. Gary Neville is a typical analyst that you want to look at. I'm not saying he's the greatest analyst, but he's the kind of guy that he will never be out of job. You sack him, another media will take him. You know why? Because he brings in the numbers. You must always understand that. The people who bring in the numbers are very, very key. And you must be willing to get into controversies. You must be willing to get into the murky waters of not impressing people, not trying to be nice to people. Okay, whether it's Chelsea fans, whether it's Arsenal fans, whether it's Man U fans, whether it's Man City fans, you got to be all up in their faces and make it hot, strike them where they feel bad about it. Well, that's not your business. So I think that Evra did a good job doing what he did, and who doesn't like it? I don't know. Okpayami Movic one, he said, I want to be your friend. That's not how to go about it, man. Go the right way. Since Nalima, he said, I like to work with you to learn the business of football. I have a sport management diploma online from Johan Cruyff Institute. Then come to the studio. You can't do that on Instagram. You got to come here. I'm a very thorough person. You got to come here, come sit in front of me, and let's have that conversation if you're serious. You know how people think that everything will just happen with them sitting in their house. When I wanted to be an analyst, I went to go and look for the job. The job didn't come looking for me. I went to go look for it. And I made sacrifice of 8 years working for free. Okay? I'm not saying people should go work for free. I'm just telling you, like, if you want to do it, then you got to commit yourself to it. Okay? Today, I'm producing Nigerian League and getting paid. But I remember doing Lagos FA Cup for free, doing grassroots tournament for free, because I wanted it. And I can't just sit at home and say, oh, I read it on the paper, so I'm good at it. No, I needed to prove myself. And it is improving myself with grassroots that gave me the chance to do what I'm doing now that I get paid for, and paying over 35 people to do matches every match day that I'm going to produce games. So the point is, if you really want it, you find, you know that thing they say that if you want something, if you want to do something, you find a reason to get it done. If you don't want to do it, you find all the excuses in this world to not get it done. So it's a side you choose. So there's a guy who just joined us on this live. His name is Coach Ayere. Coach Ayere is like my guy. He's like my twin, okay, in another body. Coach Ayere is a guy who would get results even when Boko Haram, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, all of them are pointing bombs at him, and he needs to get results. He will find a way. He's the Bugs Bunny. You must behave like Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny never gets trapped. If you trap him, he would whip out a pencil, draw a door, a window, and get out of it. So if you want something, you gotta go for it. You've got to go for it. And people who go for it ends up succeeding. That's just the way it is. Odin Ramalaka say, rain go fall tomorrow for where? Tomorrow, my wife's birthday. Why rain what for now? My wife turned 40 tomorrow. Why what for? Eze Patrick says, love that guy. Which guy? Are you gay? I put it to you. You are gay. Oh God, that was the funniest interview I've ever seen on television. Anyway, I don't know if it is real or it was skit. Oduni Ramalaka says someone. Okay, no, I think I said that one. Oduni Ramalaka say, not true. Man City for community shit again. There's a Patrick say, I still no believe say this guy no the good church. I don't go to church. Your knowledge is top notch. I read a lot. I read like I'm a voracious reader. And then my daughter is not like that. I bought the book for her within 2 hours or 3 hours. She read the whole thing. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And I was like, she was telling me the story. I was like, oh, really? Okay, this is DNA. This is in the blood. Asa Patrick said, my question, what do people always feel bad when players don't come to play for Nigeria? Are we in a position to feel bad? Because I don't understand some Twitter people with regards to Folari Balogun. You know, some people have the right. What I've come to learn, and if you're trying to understand that the world is more on the social media than in reality right now. So when you look at Nigerians are more likely to be provoked, to be angry, because ordinarily, a lot of Nigerians do not know how to control their emotions. A lot of Nigerians are very angry. In those days, I used to block. Once you strike to insult me on social media, I block you. These days, I don't. Drag me. That's if it makes you feel good. Go ahead. Insult me. See, a lot of Nigerians are angry for no reason. If you ask them, why are you angry? That thing that they are angry at, that they are venting at, it's not the problem. It's just the life. Living in Nigeria has made some people feel so frustrated and angry that they vent it at anybody. Some people take decision for themselves, right? People take decision for themselves, for their career. I know somebody who said to me one time that, you're very stupid. You read engineering and you are talking pidgin English on radio. Very local behavior. It's my life. It's my career. The person that is talking, 5 years down the line, he had rent issues. And he came to me that he needed money to pay rent. I gave him 350K. When I gave him, I'm not sorry forgive. I'm sorry. I'm not that nice. I had to, that the tweet that he sent me back in the day that I screen grab and put on my hard drive, and I sent it to you. I said, remember when you sent this? So now pidgin English and they talk, man. You also studied engineering. You're not gonna get work again. Now, local person, I give you money to pay us rent now. And I know say you'll come back again, but I just need to remind you that talking pidgin English has taken me to the World Cup and back and all this. You're still engineer like me, Alpha. So the thing is, people just feel like they can talk, especially with social media. They don't think, if you come in front of somebody, you think that if I talk this, if he punch me, or if he beats me, or if he hates people, if he hates me. But on social media, you just say it on your phone and then you just move on and you feel So that's what people do. And I don't think it gets me angry anymore. When some people reacting to Folari Balogun, I was like, please, all of them are where they react to. Where be their house address for Nigeria? Who be their family for Nigeria? Where you know that making you want him to come here. Again, even the people in Nigeria are always tearing down Nigeria on social media. What would make anybody want to come play for Nigeria? Where you are, not everybody, but like 80% of Nigerians are always looking for how to run away from Nigeria, how to go out there. You'll be saying somebody to come and play for Nigeria. What's the attraction? What's the attraction? Well, hey, it is what it is anyway. It's about to say, even Peter Schmeichel joked that CBS can afford him when Michael asked if his appearance on air last night was free. You don't understand. You understand? And it's true. People put themselves in that kind of position. If you do that in Nigeria, it's very arrogant. It's full of himself. Because our environment is different. It's like that thing I said about oak seed and acorn tree. If you plant oak seed in this container, I don't care how much of an horticulturist, how much degree you have in agriculture. The tree, that acorn seed, will never become oak tree. It will just grow, it will be dwarf. It will become a dwarf. I don't want to say I can't, but it will become a dwarf and it will just end there. But if you take that seed and plant it in a wild, very fertile field, you would, in 20 years' time, inherit a very big tree. So sometimes it's the environment. It's the environment that constricts people. It's the environment that makes people not to think well. It's the environment that makes people, and you think that these people are illiterate. No, they went to school. But the environment has also made them almost impossible to think. And it's also what is killing creativity. Some people, the environment they're in, some people are in Nigeria, they have the potential, the possibility to be the solution to most of the problems that we have. But because they've configured their mind in such a way, they don't see themselves as solutions anymore. And so it doesn't make them go to sleep or think, like, oh, how do I make a solution to this? They just see problem. And you have to be careful of those people. Don't hang around those kind of people too much. People who will give you 1 million reasons why something will not work, instead of saying, okay, I think we can do it. I'm not a fan of Obama, but I like the yes, we can slogan. Okay? Instead of that, say, bros, wow. You say one thing, for you. Who you know for your family will not do this type of thing when you want to do so. Yeah, and there are a lot of people like that, which is very funny anyway. Odinu Ramelaka say rain go fall tomorrow for my wife's birthday. You pray me rain fall. Every fall now will not be salt now. We'll not be melt. We'll go stay at the remote. That's why we get car. If don't worry yourself. Don't worry yourself. Rain not go fall. The allowance I said, remember you predicting that if Man City get Haaland, they might win the UCL. Yes, I did exactly 1 year ago, and I was in Dubai when I made that prediction. He said you also said that City might disgrace Madrid should they meet at the semis. Yeah, I know I said that. Yes, I said it, and I don't apologize to Madrid fan for that. Okay, the allowance I beg. I don't feel for Leicester City. Let them go down if they want to. They let their Premier League win get into their head. I don't think it got into that. I think this is what I think happened with Leicester. Let's be fair. I think the owner of Leicester had a good plan for the club. But you see, the thing about most rich people is they don't train their children to see what they see in their business. So their children see, my father have money, I need to spend. So when the guy died and the son have to take over, the son was already used to, if you look at the Americans traditionally train their children to inherit their business. So they put them in their business. Look at the Americans. Glazers own Manchester United. Stan Kroenke owns Arsenal. Stan Kroenke had already put his son. Okay, Man United, they put Avram Glazer in charge. So he's learning on the job and growing on it. Okay, it's actually the reason why the club is being sold for 6 billion. And they bought it for 800 million. And then they incurred the debt of 1 billion. So after everything, let's say they sell for 6 billion, they spent 2 billion to settle debt and everything. They still have 4 billion. It's a profit, right? That's Americans for you. Stan Kroenke bought Arsenal small, little drop of water make a mighty ocean. Bought the small shares and took over from Alisha Usmanov and every other person. And the first thing he did was to put his son. Again, put the son in the business. But that was not the case with the Leicester guy. So the Leicester guy, his son was used to invite his friend, crazy rich Asians behavior. Invite his friends, let's go and enjoy a private jet, go there. He doesn't understand the nitty-gritty of running a business as big as an EPL club. So the goodwill that existed with the club for their winning the title, winning the FA Cup and the competition was running. But you see, every time you go and take money with the ATM, your account is depleting. You're going to get to a point where you now see something like this, insufficient form. The goodwill, the grace that they had with all those success have run out. They are on the last dime. They might survive relegation and learn a lesson or sell the club, or they might go down. So it's not necessarily like it got to their head. It's just that somebody else inherited a business that he does not have an inkling of what the business is. Like Nigerian politicians who are very good at campaigning but not good at governance because they do not have a training, an inkling of what governance really is. Okay. Asa Patrick says controversy sells in media these days. Yesterday, Ferdinand refused to give Carragher a hand. No, that was a joke. On camera, this morning, it's in the news. These things bring in numbers. So don't blame Patrick. I can't blame him. He's doing what somebody like me would do. And then finally, Diola say, I beg, make them leave for Larry Jari. Omakabe say crazy rich Asian behavior. Well, this is why I do the content on the show. We've given you guys extra 12 minutes on the show today. My name is Edafe Mathias. You love to come in a little bit on the sports. It's been fun for me. I don't know about you. Tomorrow we're gonna have like a 30-minute show before I run off into the day to go and eat lunch or breakfast or brunch with my wife on her birthday, and then come home and just. I think tomorrow, what's it called? Fast and the Furious 10 is coming up. I like to go to the cinema and see that one with my kids, and then whatever happens, praise the Lord. Whatever happens. We're not making babies tomorrow anyway. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being with me on the show. If you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel, Eluded TV Sports on YouTube, please do want to subscribe. And if you like what we do here, share the story with your friends. Tell them to subscribe to this channel. Be part of it and help us to grow as big as we want to go. And then again, let me just remind you, the Super 6 is coming to the Mobile Johnson Arena in Lagos from the 3rd of June. Okay, from the 3rd of June after the swearing in or swearing for somebody, whatever it is, and we're going to be there. We have some job to do there. I would like you guys to come to the stadium. Let's meet and greet. Let's do some photo section. Let's do something. I saw something that Alibaba has been doing. So I think I want to copy him. He's my mentor, so I want to copy him. I want to have a lot of photos taken with people, but just one, not two people, just one person. I think I like it. Now I see it. I'm loving it. If you follow Alibaba on Instagram, you would know what I'm saying, or Facebook and Twitter as well. No, it's not much on Twitter. It's on Twitter, but it's not like really active on Twitter. But just follow him, you understand what I'm saying. Thank you very much, guys. Have for yourself a wonderful day. Sugar, I say sound is poor. Are you sure it's from you, from me, or from your side? I think the sound is good on my side, and every other person I'm not complaining about this. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye.